Do you sometimes wonder why some folks still swear by their trusty revolvers in a world where semi-automatic handguns seem to be everywhere? It's like preferring a classic vinyl record over the latest streaming tunes. There's just something timeless and appealing about a good old revolver that goes beyond nostalgia. Think about it. In a world crammed with gadgets and gizmos, a revolver is like that no-fuss tool in your shed that never lets you down. It's the down-to-earth, reliable buddy in the world of firearms. Sure, semi-autos get all the hype with their fancy features and extra rounds, but when push comes to shove, sometimes less is more. So, why do some folks choose to stick with a revolver, a design that's been around since Wyatt Earp's heyday? It's not just about keeping things old school. Revolvers offer some real deal benefits that can make a big difference, especially when you need them most. Let's take a step back from the high-tech hype and explore why choosing a revolver isn't just a nod to the past. In certain situations, it might be one of the smartest choices for today's gun owners. Number 8. Simplicity. No, I'm not talking about simple as in boring or basic. I'm talking about the kind of simplicity that's downright refreshing in today's world, where everything seems to have a million buttons and settings. With a revolver, you're getting a user experience that's as straightforward as it gets. Think of it like your favorite old-school diner. No frills, just good, reliable service. You don't need to be a gun geek to understand how to use a revolver. Load it, aim it, and pull the trigger. That's it. There's something to be said about a tool that doesn't come with a 50-page instruction manual, right? Here's the kicker. This simplicity isn't just about ease of use, it also means fewer things can go wrong. When you're in a situation where you need your gun, the last thing you want is to fumble with safety locks or worry about a jammed magazine. With a revolver, these concerns are practically non-existent. It's like having a trusty old pickup truck that may not have all the latest gadgets, but always gets the job done. Plus, when it comes to cleaning and maintenance, revolvers are the low-maintenance pals in the firearm world. There's none of that finicky disassembly and reassembly that can make cleaning semi-autos a headache. So, for anyone who appreciates the beauty in simplicity, who likes their tools tough, reliable, and uncomplicated, the revolver is a perfect choice. It's old school cool, without the hassle. Number 7. Reliability. When we're talking reliability, revolvers have a rep for being the tough, dependable workhorses of the handgun world. They're like the reliable old friend who's always there when you need them. No questions asked. Why? For starters, they've got fewer moving parts. That means fewer things can go wrong. Jam up or break down when you're in a pinch. It's the kind of straightforward, rugged design that you can count on, especially in situations where there's no room for error. Another point to consider is the way revolvers handle ammunition. Unlike semi-autos, which can be picky eaters with their magazines and feeding mechanisms, revolvers are like the easy-going buddy who's not fussy about what's for dinner. They can handle a variety of ammo without batting an eye, making them a reliable choice in situations where ammo availability might be unpredictable. And let's talk about maintenance. Revolvers don't throw a fit if they're not cleaned every time they're used. They're low maintenance, forgiving, and don't demand the meticulous care that some semi-autos do. It's like having a tool that's always ready to go, even if it's been sitting in the drawer for a while. Number 6. User-friendly operation. When it comes to firearms, user-friendliness might not be the first thing you think of, but hear me out. Revolvers are like the classic pickup truck of guns. Straightforward, no frills, and easy to handle. In the world of handguns, having a user-friendly operation is more than just a nice feature. It's a game changer, especially for new shooters or those who prefer to keep things simple. Here's the thing about revolvers. Their operation is as basic as it gets, which is a big win for practicality. Think about using an old flip phone compared to a latest gen smartphone. The revolver is that flip phone. Load it, close the cylinder, aim, pull the trigger. No fancy menus or extra buttons. This simplicity is a huge plus in stressful situations. You don't need to remember a bunch of steps or deal with safety switches when time is of the essence. And this isn't just about ease of use in shooting. The straightforward design of revolvers extends to their care and maintenance too. Unlike the semi-auto cousins, which can sometimes feel like they need a degree in mechanical engineering to disassemble and clean, revolvers are the low-maintenance friends in the gun world. They're like that reliable piece of gear you have that's always ready to go, even if you haven't used it in a while. Modern revolvers usually come in double action, which means pulling the trigger does two things: cocks the hammer and then fires the gun. It's a one-step process that cuts down on the potential for mistakes, making it ideal for high-pressure situations. This user-friendliness isn't just a convenience, it can be a real advantage when you need your firearm to be as intuitive and reliable as possible. Number 5. No tap rack bang required. Let's talk about something that really sets revolvers apart from semi-autos. Easy troubleshooting. Picture this. You're out in the woods, or maybe just at the range, and your semi-auto jams. What do? The old tap, rack, and bang routine. It's like needing to reboot your smartphone when it freezes. Now with a revolver, it's a whole different ballgame. Think of it like a trusty old radio that just needs a gentle smack to get back on track. When it comes to revolvers, if you pull the trigger and nothing happens, you don't have to go through a whole song and dance to fix it. Just pull the trigger again. This simplicity in troubleshooting is like having a tool that doesn't need a troubleshooting manual. Straightforward, no nonsense, and let's be honest, kind of refreshing in today's complicated world. Granted, there are semi-auto pistols out there that do have a similar feature called re-strike capability. Specifically, most, if not DASA pistols have this capability. If the chambered cartridge has a particularly tough primer, you can just pull the trigger again, this time in double action mode. The firing pin should be able to ignite the primer the second time around. But if it doesn't, then you'll still need to do the tap rack bang routine. This makes revolvers better than semi-auto DASA pistols. Number 4, superior stopping power. When it comes to packing a punch, revolvers chambered in magnum calibers are often in a league of their own. They're like the heavy-hitting sluggers in a baseball team, bringing some serious power to the plate. This superior stopping power is one of the key reasons many folks lean towards revolvers over semi-autos, especially when it comes to self-defense against large, dangerous game. Now, what makes revolvers stand out in this regard? It's all about the calibers they chamber. Revolvers can handle some seriously large rounds, like the .357 Magnum, the .44 Magnum, the .354 Casull, the .460 Smith & Wesson Magnum, and the .500 Smith & Wesson Magnum. These aren't just any rounds, they're the kind of heavy artillery that, when you fire them, you know they mean business. Now, some may argue that these cartridges are overkill if you're carrying in an urban environment. I would agree with them, but this aspect of revolvers, it's not just about raw power, it's also about versatility. And let's not forget, with great power comes great responsibility. These larger calibers in revolvers provide excellent stopping power, which is crucial in some self-defense scenarios. It's like having a trusty guard dog. You hope you never need to unleash it, but it's reassuring to know it's there if you do. Now, while revolvers can chamber the largest and most powerful handgun cartridges, they can also chamber weaker versions of those cartridges, making them more versatile than semi-autos. Ever heard of the Medusa Model 47? If you haven't, we talked about it in one of our videos. We'll leave a link to that video in the description. Number 3. Safer trigger mechanism. Let's talk about something that might not be the flashiest topic in the gun world, but it sure is important. Trigger safety. When it comes to revolvers, they've got a bit of an edge with their trigger mechanism. It's all about making things safer. It's like having a car with really good brakes. Might not be what sells the car, but you'll be glad it's there when you need it. Revolvers typically have a heavy double-action trigger pull. Now you might be thinking, why would I want to work harder to pull the trigger? Here's the deal. That heavier pull is actually a built-in safety feature. It's there to make sure nothing happens unless you really want it to. In high-pressure situations, which, let's face it, is when most folks would be using their firearm, nerves can get jittery. That heavier trigger pull on a revolver means you're less likely to have an accidental discharge. It's like having an extra moment to think, do I really want to turn on this chainsaw? Before it roars to life. Plus, this feature can be a real advantage when you're carrying concealed. Last thing you want is a hair trigger when you're moving around in daily life. A revolver's double-action trigger gives you control over a potentially volatile situation. Number 2. Reliability with varied bullet types. This is a big deal because not all guns work with whatever ammo you throw at them. But revolvers, they're up for anything. Think about it. Semi-auto handguns can be picky eaters. They need the right type of ammo to feed and eject properly. It's like having a sports car that only runs smoothly on premium fuel. But revolvers, they're not fussy about the brand or type of bullet you're using. Whether it's standard, premium, or some oddball rounds you found at a discount, your revolver is likely to handle them like a champ. This versatility is huge, especially in situations where you might not have your pick of ammo. Maybe you're out in the sticks, or it's the end of a long day at the range, and all you've got left are some mixed rounds. With a revolver, it's no sweat. It's like having a trusty old camping stove that'll cook whatever you throw on it. No questions asked. And it's not just about being able to fire different types of ammo. This versatility means that revolvers can be more reliable in a broader range of situations. Whether it's self-defense, target shooting, or just plinking cans in the backyard, you're not limited by ammo specificity. It's like having a multi-tool that's ready for whatever job you've got. Number 1. Easier for users with weak grips. This is where revolvers truly shine. Here's the lowdown. Semi-automatic handguns can be a bit challenging for some shooters, especially those with weaker grips. Operating the slide on a semi-auto, especially under stress, can feel like trying to open a stubborn jar of pickles. It requires a decent amount of hand strength and dexterity, which I guess most people have, but not everyone. I know my old man doesn't. For folks who might struggle with the physical demands of a semi-auto, the revolver offers a more accessible alternative. There's no slide to manipulate, which is a huge relief for anyone who might find that part of using a semi-auto daunting. Think about it. You wouldn't want to use a tool that requires more strength than you've got, right? Same goes for handguns. Having a gun that's easier to handle and operate is not just about comfort, it's about safety and effectiveness too. You want something that you can use confidently and without struggle. And for some people, that's a revolver. So for anyone who's ever felt like racking the slide on any semi-autos a bit too much, there's always a wheel gun out there to fill that gap.